Hello, how are you? I hope you've had a great week. Thanks for stopping by. What are we doing today? Well, I'm going to paint some flooring for the hallway in the chateau. So I've got a nice piece of thick card. It's like 300 GSM. It is really thick, substantial card. And we're going to make a marbling paint effect. Now, I've not really had much practice at this, so it could go either way, but let's give it a whirl. So we've got a little bit of white and a little bit of taupe and a little bit of grey and a little bit of black and some gold thrown in for good measure because you've got to have gold. We need cling film, and I think in America that is saran wrap. We've got kitchen roll. I think I might be organised today for once. That's not like me, is it? So we're going to start by adding a good coat of white paint to the card. Why add white paint? Well, I know the card's white, but unless I put a coat of white paint on first as a base coat, the marbling won't work properly because the paint will just absorb into the card. So put a white layer on first. Quite a thick coat, slosh it around there. It's quite therapeutic just sloshing white paint about. There we go, get it into all the little edges. I have secured this piece of card to a piece of clear acetate just so that it doesn't move around, and obviously acetate is quite smooth, so I know that it will come off fairly easily. These sheets of acetate are actually quite useful. I bought a load to make the the acrylic boxes to go over my dioramas, and these are just some bits that I had left. But I do find they're really useful for painting, clay making, and things like that because you can just throw them in the sink and hose them down. So now we've got a good coat of white on. Let's start by adding a bit of colour. So there's no rhyme or reason. I'm holding the brush quite loosely and just kind of letting my hands do the work, really. No sort of pattern design or anything in it. So that is the top. You have to trust the process on this one. It might not look so great until it's finished. Of course, I should have added, I have cut the card down to the exact size that I want beforehand. But I didn't do that on camera. So now we're going to add a little bit of grey. Again, no rhyme or reason, just kind of going with the flow. I'm using acrylic paint, but I have watered it down quite a bit. I would say it's probably half and half because I need it to flow quite well. And so now we've got a darker grey, which is the colour that I was mixing at the beginning. So it's just simply just black and the light grey mixed together. Nothing technical. I don't really do technical. But I couldn't find my dark grey paint. Not quite sure where it's gone. I've probably either put it somewhere safe or I've used it and not replaced it. But that's fine. We got there. I actually quite like that. It looks quite good. So what are we doing next? Well, we're going to add just a little bit of definition here and there. And then we're going to sprinkle, splat, splosh a little bit of gold. Nice. What I should possibly tell you is I think I got as much gold on me as I did on the paper. I was quite gold spotty, but then that's not unusual for me either. Alright, so what we're going to do now? Well, we are going to put cling film over the top. Smooth it down, and then we're just going to scrunch it. This feels really cool. Nice and slimy. Yep, we're just going to move that cling film around on the paper and just, again, no real pattern, just kind of going with it. Using the cling film and dab it around a bit here and there. Fun, 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 fun. Okay, I like that. In fact, I love that. But it's not got the depth of colour that I want. So, guess what? I get to do it all again. So much fun the first time, I'm going to do it the second time. Why not? I don't see why I can't have fun while I craft. A little bit here, a little bit there. So I'm just going to add some pure white as well over the top of the colours. Again, there's no real going with any pattern design. I'm really just going with the flow and enjoying it. Little bit of grey. You can see the colour starting to take effect. I've only done this a couple of times, and not on paper. I've done it on other things. But actually, I'm quite enjoying it, and I definitely think it's a technique that I would use again. There's probably a better way of doing it, but for me, this seems to work. It's quite cool, isn't it? Little bits here, little bits there. Little bit of gold in there. Got to have gold. Got to have sparkle. There we go. I know that looks like I've probably messed it up, but I haven't. Trust me. It will work out. And if it doesn't, then I'll just start again. Back with the cling film. Smooth it down. Are you ready? You ready? Scrunch. It's the little things, isn't it? Slide it around. This is why we're using cling film. Because it doesn't absorb the paint, so the paint goes back onto the paper. I like that. I'm happy with that. So what we need to do now is go back in with a paintbrush and just add a little bit of veining and highlight some of the marks that we've made with the cling film. So with a real fine brush, or a big brush, any brush that you want really, and just add some nice little details, and you can follow the pattern that the cling film has made, which just brings out the markings a little bit more, because marbling obviously has quite a lot of veining in it, and that's what we need to pick out. Let me know if you've tried marbling, especially if you've got any tips to make it better. Always happy to get tips. We're veining with the dark grey at the moment, because that's just going to bring the colours out nicely. Follow that line round. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Add a little bit of the lighter grey as well to create a bit of shadow, a bit of texture, because marbling isn't flat, is it? It's quite 3D. Move my kitchen roll out of the way. Flip it round. I love this little turntable. I use it so much. I'm considering actually getting one on a stand on a pedestal. You know, like you would use for cake decorating. Just so I've got an option if I want to raise something higher. But I do love this stand. I don't think it was very expensive. I think it was about £8 or something. But for the amount of use I've had out of it, it's definitely paid for itself. A bit of veining down at the bottom. A bit in there. It's just a matter of just turning the paper and just looking at it from different angles. And of course, the veining wouldn't go in one direction, so you could do vertical, horizontal, diagonal, any way that you want really. A little bit of the lighter grey. We're also going to add a little bit of white, and then of course we have to add some gold at the end, don't we? It needs to be quite fluid, so practice tells me that you definitely need to water down your paints to do this. You can't do it with acrylic, as it's straight out of the bottle, or I haven't found it very easy to do with acrylic straight out of the bottle. I have seen another effect. I saw it on a channel who escapes me, but it was probably one of the model channels, you know, the gaming models, RPG games, and they actually painted onto a sheet of plastic, like the acetate, and then dropped the paper onto the top of the acetate and printed it off that way at the end, and that was quite effective. I've not tried that yet, so I only saw it the other day. So it's something that I might actually give a go. Not today, obviously. But yeah, it's something that I might try. But then I'm thinking, could I do it on a gel plate? Could do, couldn't I? Although I've not got a very big gel plate, it's only a small one. I suppose I could print it off twice. Let me know down below if you've tried that and what you thought about it. I'd be interested to hear your experiences. Add that little bit more there. This is going to look so cool in the hallway. I decided not to go with the big grand staircase in the hallway. It kind of, because the space was small, or is small, when I've got the staircase in there, it just looked too big, too bulky, so I've scrapped that idea. But I have a very nice wooden staircase, and I'm going to use that. It just needs painting. Haven't got round to that yet. I'm sure I will. Little bits of gold in there. Got to have my shinies. I think I've nearly run out of this gold paint. I'm going to have to buy some more. I use so much of it. I do like the watercolour metallic paints, but I found for modelling and dioramas and things like that, the metallic acrylics work best. This is a Pebeo. I do quite often use Pebeo, to be fair, they're quite good paints. I have model paints that I use for my little miniature figures, you know, my tiny ones, and that's usually Vallejo, sometimes Army Painter, but mainly Vallejo. I'm not sure if that's pronounced right, but that's just what I call it, Vallejo. Vallejo. But anyway, I found their paints are actually quite good. But model paint only comes in very small bottles, and for a big project like this, you would just use far too much. Almost finished, I think. Just keep checking it from different angles. It's very therapeutic, gentle painting. It's nice to do something calming, isn't it? So adding some white in to the darker areas, because I don't want it too dark. And when all this is finished and when it's all dry, I'm going to add, it's like matte gel medium, but it's not matte, it's gloss. It's not a high gloss, but it is a gloss. Because I think it needs a bit of shine. Yep, I like that. A little bit more up there. I can't believe that I'm so close to getting my hallway finished. I know it's the first room. I can't decide which room to start on next. Whether to start on the sitting room or the kitchen. I think I may go with the sitting room. I might not finish it. What I may do is just decorate each room first. So add the flooring and the wallpapers and whatever I need to do to the ceiling, and do it that way before I start adding bits to it. I think that's possibly the best way to do it. I haven't really decided on colour schemes either, just that I want quite a rich and decadent house. Nothing too modern. I'm going for kind of a vintage Victorian French chic kind of look. Hopefully. I'm going to try my best. And I'm probably a little bit further behind than what I wanted to be fair. Just because me being me, I started lots of different projects, and if I'd have concentrated on just the chateau, I'd have got a lot more done. But I haven't, and I've dilly-dallied around on lots of different projects. But that's fine. If it's not done, it's not done. I didn't put a time limit on it, so I can't talk this morning. Keep getting all my words mixed up. Do you have days like that? I'm sure you do. I'm sure we all do. It's probably just a sign of being relaxed and in the moment, which is what I try to do. As soon as I get a paintbrush in my hand, that's it, I'm away. Or a needle. Of course, it's coming up to Christmas, isn't it? So I've been spending a lot of time making my handmade gifts for Christmas. I always make some handmade gifts, and I always leave it too late. And yeah, you know how it goes. I'm getting there. I do like this. It's so cool. Love it. Lovely, lovely, love it. Now I'm going to crinkle a little bit of cling film up. Just dip it in some water. No paint, just water. And then just sponge it down. Just because I don't want the edges too sharp. Just makes them a little bit rougher, more feathered, which is what I think marble looks like. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but as long as I'm happy with the result. And I am very happy with this. It's turned out really, really well. For a first attempt, not too bad. I've quite surprised myself. Yeah, I like that. Gosh, yes, I'm happy with that. very, very happy with that. Perfect. Just what I wanted. I love it, love it, love it. Now I'm going to get a really fine brush and just go back in and just add some really thin, tiny little veins in gold. Just because I can. A little bit more. Again, I'm just following the lines that have been made by cling film, so they're quite natural lines. So I'm not quite sure how long this video is, what, 40 minutes or something, which actually is a really long time for me because most of my videos are only about 10 or 15 minutes. But there was a lot to pack into one video. But in real life, obviously this has been edited down and I've taken out all the sort of drying time and bits in between. In real life, I think this is probably taken me about 3 hours. So not the quickest, but well worth it. There we go. A little bit more gold in there. What a luxury to have 3 hours to sit and paint this marble, though. Not something that happens very often in my house. But yeah, it just feels so nice to just sit and paint. And turn it round and draw in some gold from a different angle. You might not be able to see it very well from on the camera because these lines really are very fine. But yeah, trust me, the little gold lines are there and it does add to the effect beautifully. Love it. Love it. Makes you feel so chilled and relaxed. Just that little bit more in there. Are you feeling nice and relaxed? I am. Ah, yes. Bliss. If I'm silent, it's just because I'm enjoying the moment. Nice and calming. Sometimes it's nice to just get wrapped up in something that isn't day-to-day hustle, bustle. Sometimes it's just nice to find that little pocket of time, isn't it? Where we can sit and create. Shut everything else out. Maybe you like to listen to music while you create. Maybe you like to watch videos while you create, or films. Maybe you just like silence. I think for me it very much depends what mood I'm in to start off with. Sometimes I have nice gentle music. More often than not, I actually have YouTube on in the background. So what do you think? I must say I'm quite impressed with that. Do you like it? I love it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It'll look lovely in the hallway. Yeah. And I'm going to sign off here, I think. Because there's not really anything else I need to add. And I'm so relaxed and wound down that I think I might actually be able to just sit and chill. Maybe grab myself a drink while this dries, before I can put the final layer on. I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this flooring for the chateau hallway. I hope you've all had a great week. And for those of you that were celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And until next time, take care of yourselves. And remember to try and find a little bit of quiet time just for you. Until next time, take care now. Goodbye.